Morning, y'all, or afternoon, I guess, depending on when you watch this video. Um, we're going to do something differently now because I just remembered that I made this awesome slideshow when I was in college, when I was student teaching for a class that I think would work really well right now to kind of give us a little bit of background because we've been discussing North America and South America and the history of them and like the geography a little bit and the culture. I guess all that is the same, history, geography, culture. Got scratched by my dog wrestling him. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I'm going to show you all this slideshow and we're gonna sort of take a step back figuratively, where we are going to analyze the colonization of America a little bit closer. I think that's a good topic to cover. I think it's something that I sort of glossed over when we were talking about both of North and South America, and I want to make sure that we have an understanding on why America was colonized, how it was colonized, and what the effects of it were, and how our cultures, both in North and South America, developed. Because I think that their relationship with the land and the history of the land is probably the most important thing to learn about when we're learning about North and South America. So that's what we're going to do for the next few days. We're going to sort of take a step back and use this resource that I spent a bunch of time making because it's fun and cool, I think. So with no further ado, let's show you all what I'm talking about. Okay, so screen sharing, hide. So let's pull up the old, there it is. Laser pointer. So new global exploration and connection, 1415 to 1796. I'm gonna also post a little guided notes type situation with this, so you all can, after the video, fill it out, or during the video, fill it out, or just referencing the slides, fill it out, however you want to. But that'll be the assignment points, will be the guided notes that come with this. So this is just an old school map. It depicts the heavens up there. I just thought it was really cool. It's in Latin. This was when they had discovered most of the world. They hadn't really discovered the east coast of Australia yet. The rest of it's pretty good. They didn't know what the northwest of the United States was like. They just had discovered California. So yeah. 1415 to 1796 will be the era we are studying, and that is the era of European and African exchange with North America. So we're going to cover European exploration. We're going to talk about the controversial figure of Christopher Columbus and his historical legacy. And we're going to talk about the Atlantic slave trade and the effects that has had on our cultures that we are studying in geography. And then we are going to discuss the Columbian Exchange, how that changed the environment and how people interact with it. And the mercantilism and coffee bit isn't so much what we're going to study. That was when I originally made this source, it was for a history class. But I think it applies quite well in our class as well. So day one, European exploration. This is the essential question you're going to have to answer. What were the causes and effects of European exploration? The major causes and effects. So that's the essential question. That's what we wanted. That's the whole point we're learning this stuff, is we're going to learn what were the major causes of European exploration so you guys can understand the basis of our modern culture. The objective, same deal. A poster project, or that would be if we were face-to-face, which we're not. So it's probably going to be a PowerPoint project instead of a poster project. since you guys can use PowerPoint online. So how would a changing perspective of the world impact humankind? Think about this as we go through this. If your perception of the world changed throughout your life, how would you feel about it? If all of a sudden we're like, hey, it turns out that lizard people are real and the earth is hollow and there's a bunch of lizards living inside the earth, like some crazy conspiracists believe. Well, if that were to turn out to be true, how would you feel about that? So it would be crazy. So we want to look at world maps in perspective here, how world maps have changed over time. So this is probably the oldest map ever that anyone has found. It's not in very good shape anymore, as you can tell. This would have been the 6th century BCE, so 600, 700 years before Christ, or before the Common Era, in ancient Babylon. I don't even know what it's a map of. It looks like crossroads or something. I don't know. Here we go. This is a few years after the Common Era, so ancient Rome. Their map was actually pretty decent. You can see Spain here, France, they got Germany. This is Italy. This is Greece. That's Turkey right here, Anatolia, and Armenia. So their size was a little bit, their scale was a little off. Here's the Holy Land, Jerusalem and stuff. They got India down here, Scythia, which would be kind of like northern Iran area, and then Africa. So they're a little bit off, but it's kind of weird how they got this face shape in there. It's even got ear. So this is Ptolemy. This is about 100 years after that other map, and you can see he's got a much better idea. He's got Europe over here, Asia. He's got Saudi Arabia, what's modern day Saudi Arabia, India. He's got an island off there that's real big. So he was getting a little bit better. These are just old maps. And then by 1630, they pretty much have mapped the whole world almost. So normally you would discuss this, but I'm just going to have you in your guided notes answer this. How would a changing perspective of the world impact humankind, do you think? No right or wrong answers. So European exploration. Arab and Italian merchants controlled a lot of the trade, because if you lived in France and you wanted to get silk from China, it had to go through Arabia and Italy, and they also had the best navies. So it made it expensive because they were like the middlemen. So they would bring Muslim traders from Egypt, Syria, and Turkey would meet with Italian traders, and then the Italian traders would bring those goods further west to France and Spain and stuff, and then they would exchange them there for a lot of money. Europeans wanted to cut out these Muslims. Italians are also Europeans, but at the time they were, the Mediterranean-based cultures. They wanted to get rid of them so they could make more money on their own. So that sparked European exploration. Explorers hoped to get rich by entering the spice trade or conquering other lands. So they also wanted to spread Christianity, spread the word of God. And they wanted to learn about what the world was like. So the causes of exploration, which you're going to have to write down, are they wanted to find new routes to markets in Asia. They wanted to gain wealth. They wanted to spread Christianity. And they were curious about the world and wanted to explore it. I got this map here of trade routes. So if you want to go here, if you're in China and you want to trade, it has to go through either Muslim land, which is this area, or you can try and circumvent it and go through Egypt, which was also Muslim. So no matter what, you're going through Islamic lands. And then it goes usually to Italy, or it would go through Spain, which was controlled by Muslims at the time. So Europeans wanted to cut out the Islamic people and make money on their own. So how were they able to do this? Improvements in technology helped Europeans cross vast oceans. Cartographers, who are map makers, created more accurate maps and sea charts. So this allowed Europeans to sail better. They found this cool tool called the astrolabe, which could determine your latitude at sea. It was developed by the ancient Greeks, and then the Arabs perfected it. They also were able to make bigger and better ships. The cool little ships that we all know and love, the Carrack with the triangle sail. Well, I guess we'll just skip that slide. Actually, no, we won't. So, Treaty of Tordesillas, Spain and Portugal, who were the first nations to discover the Americas, they were rivals, and they wanted to settle their claims. So the Pope decided to sign the Treaty of Tordesillas, and that set the dividing zone between non-European world into two zones. So basically split North America and South America into two zones, where Spain got everything west of the line and Portugal got everything east of the line. So that's why in Brazil they speak Portuguese, because it's the easternmost country. And then in most of the Western countries, they speak either Spanish or, well, they mostly speak Spanish. And that's because of this treaty, the Treaty of Tordesillas. So that's why Brazilians speak Portuguese. Yeah, here's this map. And because they hadn't discovered the rest of the world, they didn't realize how much they were benefiting Spain. So Spain got way more land than Portugal. So Portugal was not happy about it. And as a side effect, Portugal started going more east. So that's kind of why they got into India, they got into Somalia and Yemen and stuff, and then the East Indies. So Portugal ended up getting pretty big. The 13 colonies, you guys all know this story, I'm sure. The English and the Dutch settled in the north because Spain had already settled in the south, so they needed to go to some places where Spain wasn't, and that's where the 13 colonies come from. The Virginia colony was the first one, the first successful one in England. Organizers of the company wanted to expand English trade and obtain a wider market for English manufactured goods. So they were trying to expand their markets. We'll skip the Mayflower Compact. The Plymouth Company established a settlement that they dubbed Roanoke that failed mysteriously in 1606. Nobody knows what happened to the people at Roanoke. They just disappeared. And the London Company established a presence in what would become Jamestown, Virginia. Only about 60 colonists survived out of the 500 in the first winter, so that's Jamestown's story. They didn't do very good. The French founded Quebec in 1608, so that the French were in Canada. And then the Dutch started a colony in 1609 in present-day New York. And while Native Americans resisted European efforts to amass land and power during this period, they struggled to do so while fighting the new diseases introduced by the Europeans and the slave trade. Slaves also brought over diseases, not just Europeans. So European colonization of North America in about 1700. You can see Spain's got all of Mexico, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, South America. England's only got this little bit. Canada's got that bit. Okay, so that's where we'll stop for today. And then I will kind of edit up these slides to make them fit better for our class. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.